Hello, I'm Andrew Pritchard, and thank you for watching today's Northeast Regional Forecast, brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. So check in with the jet stream here on Tuesday morning. To think about it for a second, what is today? We continue to watch broad ridging over the Pacific Northwest, but we've got a trough, couple short waves embedded on the flow here underneath that are bringing some chances for showers and storms to parts of the Midwest, and eventually parts of the Northeast region. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. First, your snapshot views, though, your temperature anomaly forecast for the next 10 days. The first 5 days are here on the right, keeping things cool across parts of the Corn Belt here, but close to average across the Northeast region. That's going to be the trend here over the next 10 days or so. Really a pattern that offers a couple days above average, a couple days below average. It does look like maybe cooler to near average conditions continuing all the way through the end of the month of August. As we look at the precipitation forecast over the next 2 weeks, keeping things drier overall to near average across the Northeast region. Really going to be watching a couple corridors across the northern plains into parts of the Corn Belt for above average precipitation activity as we watch several troughs kind of stall out in the midsection of the country. But with that, that keeps ridging overall across parts of the Northeast region. And that, again, going to keep us close to average, but keep the precipitation chances maybe a little bit quieter as we look at the next 1 to 2 weeks. Last 24 hours of precipitation, we saw some scattered showers and storms across eastern portions of the region. We thought for more activity to come through here over the next 24 to 48 hours. Perhaps some severe weather to talk about here as we look at Wednesday, and we'll take a look at that here in just a moment. The satellite picture here early on Tuesday morning. Right now we are watching this very large complex of strong storms developing across parts of Iowa, watching for that to track across parts of the Midwest here, parts of the eastern Corn Belt. But quiet. It's going to be a beautiful morning here across almost the entire Northeast region here. Sunny skies and beautiful temperatures as we wake up on Tuesday morning. A look under those clouds, looking at the radar picture again here, the severe storms across Iowa. These will be impacting parts of the eastern Corn Belt as we head through the afternoon today, but again, quiet as we start our Tuesday across the Northeast region. This is just a zoomed in shot of that complex of storms developing across Iowa right now. You're starting to see a little bit of a counterclockwise flow in there as this complex of storms actually develops its own area of low pressure, organizes into a potential bow echo. May see a bow shape like this emerge on the radar as these storms begin to track into parts of central Illinois later on this afternoon. Looking at the surface picture here, this from the National Weather Service on Tuesday morning. This is the frontal boundary that's stalled out across the region, keeping those. That is not even close to tracing the line. There we do a little better job. Keeping the showers and storms first in the forecast in this region here for the day on Tuesday, but eventually bringing some showers and storms to parts of the Northeast region as we get into the day on Wednesday. And then this frontal boundary takes its time getting out of here. This would be looking at the picture here Thursday morning, so all the way into Thursday, this frontal boundary kind of parking in the area, or at least slowly progressing across the area, keeping at least isolated storms in the chance all the way through the day on Thursday. Here's today's severe weather outlook. Again, really focusing on parts of the Corn Belt as we talk about getting through the day on Tuesday, but then we look at Wednesday and Thursday here. Wednesday going to be the biggest day that we're looking out here across much of the Northeast region, quiet by the time we get to the day on Thursday as far as severe weather is concerned. Now, this is our high-resolution rapid refresh model. This is just going to take us through, basically through today, and so really we'll be focusing on this area for the development of showers and storms, but widely scattered storms across this entire corridor. We'll go ahead and hit play, but keeping things quiet across the Northeast region until we get into the day tomorrow. This loop ends at 1 p.m. on Wednesday. There you start to see some of those isolated storms popping up during the afternoon on Wednesday across Pennsylvania and New York State. These will eventually begin progressing off to the east, giving the entire Northeast region at least a chance for isolated storms. The high-resolution NAM model, this will take us a little bit further out. We'll play it first to see the storms right in this area, and then as we get into the day on Wednesday, watching in this area for at least isolated showers and storms, taking us all the way into the day Thursday. You see the picture is clear there, but wherever this frontal boundary is, along that and to the east, we'll see a continued chance for at least isolated storms as we get into the afternoon on Thursday. Your total accumulated precipitation forecast from the high-resolution NAM model, again, you see the scattered nature there. Some people getting downpours, other people being left out. I do know the plural there. So it's not a pattern, again, that's going to give everyone a good soaking here. We're just looking for isolated to scattered showers and storms, really, as we're talking about the day Wednesday and then perhaps early on Thursday. Looking a bit further out, we'll look at the European model now. We're looking at the 500 millibar height wind speeds. Again, this is that little shortwave, that little patch of stronger winds embedded within the flow across the Midwest that's bringing that chance for severe weather as we head through the day on Tuesday. We'll bring this back to Tuesday morning and then begin to creep ahead into Wednesday And this is when we start to see this trough begin to push into the northeast region. That's what's going to give us the chance for maybe a couple severe storms Wednesday afternoon, and then perhaps an isolated shower or storm on the day on Thursday before this kicks out of the region. Then we turn our attention back to the west. We'll be watching this next kind of surge from the jet stream as it begins to move into the lower 48. This is early next week, so we're getting into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. We'll have to watch the behavior of this as it begins to push into the Great Lakes and then into the northeast region. First, for the development of perhaps some areas of low pressure across the Great Lakes. That, again, why we have higher precipitation chances across the central U.S., keeping things drier over here. We see high pressure parked across this region as we get into the end of the weekend into early next week. So again, drier as it looks right now, taking us through the weekend into early next week across the northeast region, but we'll have to watch what goes on out here to try and understand what's going to happen upstream across the northeast region as we get into late next week. Your temperature forecast here, the temperature anomalies, so looking for areas of warmer and cooler than average. Again, keeping things warmer right now as we get the week started. We'll play this out, though. You see warmer temperatures in advance of that area low pressure, but once it gets through right here on Friday, taking us through Saturday, Sunday, and into early next week, going to be keeping things at least a little bit cooler than average across the northeast region. Instability, this is the forecast fuel for our thunderstorms. You see early on, I'll go ahead and bring it back. We can see the evolution of the pattern here of this frontal boundary. Taking it back to Tuesday, into the day on Wednesday. Here's your Wednesday afternoon instability forecast. Again, at least marginal values here across Pennsylvania and New York State. This will be where we'd be watching for the chance for a couple isolated storms, but you look over on the color table, we're talking about low to moderate instability across the region. So not talking about any kind of significant widespread severe weather outbreak, but still the potential for some damaging winds with some of these stronger storms, maybe a couple large hail reports and an isolated tornado, not entirely impossible. But what I wanted to show, I forgot why I even went back to this. Watch what happens, though, as this front gets through the area right here, keeping things quiet and stable. Again, as we head through the weekend into early next week, it's going to be a cooler air mass, one that's not going to be supportive of strong storms or even widespread rain chances. The European model precipitation forecast, same thing. We'll bring it back to Tuesday, watching first for the showers and storms across the Corn Belt here Tuesday. And as we get into Wednesday, watching for those isolated storms across Pennsylvania, New York State, into the rest of the northeast region by the time we get to Wednesday evening and Wednesday night. And again, the low risk for a strong storm primarily across this region, that going to be highest across Pennsylvania and the state of New York. Taking it through the day Thursday, again, isolated storm chances still possible along that frontal boundary that kind of stalls and lingers back in this region, but drying out by the time we get into the weekend, keeping things dry across the northeast region until we get into early next week, perhaps beyond that. Here we're looking at the total for the next week, the European ensemble model right now, the probability of seeing rainfall over 1 inch. I'm not sure why that was so hard for me to spit out. So for the next week, the probability that each location sees an inch of rain, and we're looking for the warmer colors here. When you get into the orange and the red, that's when you're getting up above 80%. And where do you see that? Well, it's in this corridor here across parts of the Corn Belt. You see patchy areas here where the model maybe is suggesting some of those thunderstorms set up. But overall, looking, like scattered, only isolated areas going to be seeing that higher precipitation. When you look at the northeast region right now, keeping things definitely quieter as we talk about precipitation for the next week. So we'll finish now, look at the high temperatures, keeping things in the upper 70s to the low 80s for the day on Tuesday. We'll be warmer for the day on Wednesday. The front comes through here Thursday and Friday, and that's going to be keeping our temperatures a bit cooler. Look at that, some 60s for your highs on Friday. Same story here, 60s and 70s for high temperatures on Saturday as this cooler air mass moves into the region. As always, Eric Snodgrass will have an in-depth look at the evolution of the next 1 to 2 weeks in our Thursday morning ag forecast video, and I'll have your next check-in with the Northeast region on Friday morning. Have a great day.